Chosen one, why does everything collapse the moment you're about to break through? Why do the people closest to you suddenly turn cold when heaven starts turning up the heat on your destiny? And why, tell me, why does the enemy attack hardest right before your greatest blessing arrives? Listen to me carefully, chosen one. If you're hearing my voice right now at this exact second, it is not an accident. It's not the algorithm. It's not chance. Heaven just called your name. I see you. You're sitting there in your kitchen at 2 in the morning, cold coffee on the counter, eyes burning from exhaustion you can't explain, heart pounding with a restlessness that won't let you sleep. You've been up for hours, haven't you? Scrolling, searching, asking God, what is happening to me? Here's what nobody told you. You already passed. Out of every 100 souls wandering this earth, 99 will never understand what you're experiencing right now. They'll live, they'll die, they'll never know they were called. But you? You're the 1%, the remnant, the few. And here's the shock that's going to rearrange everything you thought you knew. You passed a test you didn't even know you were taking. Think about that. While you were breaking, God was building. While you were isolated, He was insulating. While everyone walked away, heaven was clearing the room for what's about to walk in. But here's the question that's burning in the realm of the spirit right now. What was that test? And why were you chosen to take it? If your spirit is vibrating right now, if something ancient and true is waking up inside your chest, I need you to do something. Type 99 inches, the comments right now. Don't think about it, just do it. That single act is not superstition, it's agreement. It's you telling heaven, I'm ready, I hear you, I'm not running anymore. Because here's the truth they don't preach on Sunday morning. You didn't stumble onto this message. Heaven scheduled you to be here. Before we go deeper, I want to honor something sacred. Thank you to every single one of you who has supported this message through super thanks. Your generosity means more than you know. You're not just giving, you're sowing seeds into soil that will bear fruit in someone else's breakthrough. You're helping spread light to souls who feel completely alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful. Your presence here, your time, your attention, it all matters. And if this message is resonating in the core of your spirit, go ahead. Now, let me tell you what just happened in the invisible realm the moment you clicked on this video. How many funerals have you attended in the last 5 years where you were one of the last ones standing? How many times have you walked through your own house, past empty bedrooms, past photographs of people who don't call anymore, and felt like a ghost in your own life? And when did you stop telling people how you really feel? Because you realized nobody actually wants to know. I'm talking to the seniors right now, the ones who've buried spouses, the ones whose children moved 3 states away and call twice a year, the ones who wake up at 4 in the morning because your body forgot how to sleep through the night, and your mind won't stop replaying everything you've lost. You've survived more storms than most people have seen sunrises. And somewhere along the way, you started believing the lie that your best days are behind you, that God is done with you, that you're just waiting now, waiting for the end, waiting for relief, waiting for heaven, because earth has nothing left to offer. But what if I told you that every single loss, every betrayal, every silent night you spent crying in the dark, what if all of it was part of an exam you didn't know you were taking? Let me say that again. Your life has been a divine test, and heaven has been grading it in silence. You thought God was absent, but He was watching. You thought He didn't care about the pain, but He was keeping score. The Bible says in James 1:12, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love Him." Did you catch that? Having stood the test. That means there was a test, and you've been in it. Your entire life has been the exam. And here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know: you passed. Every tear you cried, God collected it. Psalm 56:8 says, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." Each one, not some, not the big ones. Every single tear has been documented. Heaven has a file on you thicker than any medical record, thicker than any career resume. And it doesn't say failure. It says approved. But nobody told you that surviving was the curriculum, did they? Nobody told you that losing people was part of the training, that the empty chair at Thanksgiving was shaping you for assignment so specific that only someone with your exact scars could carry it, that the doctor's appointments, the prescriptions you can't pronounce, the friends who stopped visiting, all of it was refining you. Isaiah 40:31 promises, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." You've been walking for decades, and you're tired. I know you're tired, but that weariness, that's not defeat. That's the weight of completion. You've been carrying something heavy because heaven only gives heavy assignments to people with strong backs. And your back has held up under pressure that would have crushed others by their 40th birthday. Every unanswered prayer was a question on the test. Every time you asked God, "Why me?" and got silence, that was the essay portion. Every time you chose to keep going when quitting made more sense, that was extra credit. Every morning you got out of bed even though your body screamed and your heart was shattered, that was you writing your name at the top of the page and saying, "I'm still here, grade me." And God did. Now let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest. If this sounds like your story, if you've lived through hell and somehow you're still breathing, I want you to whisper it right now, out loud, wherever you are. Just whisper, "I made it through." Say it, because your voice has power. And heaven is listening for your testimony. But here's the question nobody's answering. What happens after you pass heaven's test? Why does passing feel like this? Why the exhaustion? Why does victory feel like you've been hit by a truck? Why are you more isolated now than you were during the trial? Because here's what they don't tell you in church. Passing the test doesn't mean the battle is over. It means you've been promoted. And promotion in the kingdom doesn't come with a party. It comes with a new weight, a new assignment, a new level of spiritual warfare that 99% of people will never experience because they didn't make it through the exam. You're not tired because you failed. You're exhausted because you graduated. And graduation means you're about to be deployed. The enemy knows this. That's why he's hitting you harder now than ever before. That's why your body is breaking down right when your spirit is waking up. That's why everyone around you is acting strange, because the atmosphere around you has shifted. You've entered a new realm. And not everyone is cleared to walk with you there. You thought the test was the hard part, but the real question is this. What does heaven do with someone who passes a test that 99% fail? And why right now, at this exact moment in your life, are you suddenly hearing this message? Because, chosen one, your name has been called, and what's about to happen next will rewrite everything you thought your final chapter was supposed to look like. You passed. Let that sink into the deepest part of your soul. You passed. Every sleepless night when you thought you were losing your mind, God was grading it as faith. Every tear you cried in secret, heaven was collecting it in a bottle. Every moment you wanted to quit, but something inside you whispered, "Not yet." That wasn't weakness. That was the fingerprint of the Almighty holding you in place. You've been walking through a furnace, haven't you? The heat so intense you couldn't see 2 feet in front of you. Relationships burned away, jobs evaporated. Dreams you built for decades turned to ash in your hands, and you kept asking God, "Why? Why me? What did I do to deserve this?" Here's what the enemy never wanted you to know. You weren't being punished. You were being purified. Listen to this carefully. Gold doesn't know it's gold until fire proves it. A seed doesn't understand burial until it breaks open and becomes a tree. You have been in the fire, you have been in the ground, and right now, right this second, heaven is declaring over you, the refinement is complete. But let me take you deeper, because this isn't just poetry, this is biblical pattern, and it's going to blow your mind. Do you know the story of Joseph? 17 years old, dreamer, favored son. God gave him a vision so powerful it made his brothers sick with jealousy. And what happened next? They threw him in a pit, sold him into slavery. He ended up in Egypt, falsely accused, locked in a dungeon for years. Years, forgotten, abandoned, dreaming dreams in the dark. Now here's the question nobody asks. If God gave Joseph the vision at 17, why didn't it happen until he was 30? 13 years. 13 years of delay. 13 years of God. Did I hear you wrong? Because delay is not denial. Delay is development. Joseph wasn't ready at 17 to rule Egypt. He needed the pit to learn humility. He needed Potiphar's house to learn leadership. He needed the prison to learn patience. God was building a prime minister in the darkness, and nobody, not even Joseph, could see it. The vision was true. The timing was perfect. But the process was brutal. The prophet Habakkuk said it like this: "Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come, and will not delay." You hear that? It will not delay. What looks late to you is right on time in heaven's calendar. What feels like failure is actually the final stage of preparation. You are Joseph in the prison, and your Egypt is coming. Now let me tell you why only 1% make it to this moment. 99 out of every 100 people quit in the furnace. They walk away when the heat gets unbearable. They give up when the wait gets too long. They look at the closed doors, the silent heavens, the empty bank account, the broken family, and they say, "God must not be real. This must not be my calling." But you stayed. You didn't understand it. You didn't like it. But something deeper than logic kept you planted. That's not human strength. That's divine selection. God only trusts the 1% who will endure refinement long enough to carry the weight of revelation. Because here's what most people don't realize. The anointing you're about to carry is too heavy for an unrefined soul. You think you wanted this blessing last year, you would have destroyed yourself with it. You weren't ready. Your character hadn't caught up to your calling. But now the gold has been separated from the dross. Now the seed has died, and the roots have gone deep. Now you can be trusted with what's coming. I need you to do something right now. I need you to say this out loud. Wherever you are, don't just think it. Speak it into the atmosphere. Say, "I'm one of the 1% heaven can trust." Say it again, louder. Let your spirit hear your voice agree with what God already declared over you. You are not a victim. You are not a casualty. You are a victor standing on the other side of the test, and the enemy is terrified of what you're about to become. You've moved from victim to victor, from wanderer to warrior, from forgotten to favored. The story flipped. The narrative changed. And everyone who counted you out is about to watch God count you in. But here's where it gets interesting, and here's where most people stumble even after they pass. If you've passed the test, why does life still feel heavy? Why does the weight on your chest not lift? Why do you still wake up feeling like something massive is pressing down on your spirit? Because the next phase isn't about movement. The next phase requires stillness. And stillness, my dear chosen one, is the hardest assignment God will ever give you. You've spent years fighting, pushing, striving, grinding. You've learned how to war. You've learned how to endure. But have you learned how to be still and know that He is God? What's coming next is not another battle. It's a beckoning, not another storm. It's a silence. And in that silence, God is about to speak the strategy, the direction, the next level instruction that will launch you into the purpose you were refined for. But you have to be still enough to hear it. So let me ask you, can you sit in the waiting room of heaven without running back to Egypt? Can you stand in the silence without filling it with noise? Can you trust God's timing even when every fiber of your being screams for action? Because what I'm about to show you next will shatter everything you thought you knew about God's timing and why you had to pass through fire to get here. Now let me tell you what God has been doing to you in the dark. You thought you were breaking down, but heaven calls it divine anesthesia. You know what that is? It's when the great physician puts you under, not to harm you, but to cut away what would have killed you if it stayed inside. You've been exhausted, haven't you? Not just tired, spiritually paralyzed, can't pray like you used to, can't feel Him like before. Some mornings you wake up and wonder if God even remembers your name. Your body aches with a fatigue that sleep won't fix. Your mind races at 3 a.m. with questions that have no earthly answers. Listen to what happened to Daniel. Chapter 10. A man who spoke to kings, who saw visions, who moved in power. Suddenly, he's face down on the ground for 21 days. And he says this, "No strength remained in me." Does that sound familiar? Daniel wasn't being punished. He was being prepared. Heaven was rewiring his frequency so he could receive what was coming. And right now, right this second, you're on that same operating table. God has you in the operating room of heaven. And I need you to understand something that's going to shift everything. What you're feeling isn't depression, it's reconstruction. What you're experiencing isn't abandonment, it's recalibration. The sleeplessness, that's your spirit being tuned to a frequency this realm can't hear yet. You're being moved into what I call the 5D awakening, a dimension of peace so deep that chaos can't touch it, a level of sight so clear that the enemy's tricks look like child's play. But here's what most people miss. Stillness is not stagnation. Stillness is activation. When you can't move, God is moving for you. When you're too weak to fight, heaven is fighting battles you'll never even see. Every day you've felt stuck. Angels have been rearranging your future, clearing paths, closing doors that would have destroyed you, opening gates you don't even know exist yet. Right now, I want you to say something out loud. Don't just think it, say it. God, I surrender to stillness. Say it again, louder. Let that agreement hit the atmosphere. Because here's the prophecy I'm releasing over you right now. When He finishes this surgery, you won't just heal, you will resurrect. You won't walk out the same. You'll walk out unstoppable. The people who left you, they won't recognize the version of you that's coming. The doors that closed, you won't even want them anymore. The dreams that died, God's about to breathe on the bones. But you have to stop fighting the stillness. You have to stop begging God to take you back to where you were. You were never meant to go back. You were meant to ascend. And that ascension, it's happening right now, in the waiting, in the silence, in the surrender. So here's the question burning in the realm of the spirit. What is God cutting out of you that you keep trying to hold on to? Now let me tell you what God has been doing to you in the dark. You thought you were breaking down, but heaven calls it divine anesthesia. You know what that is? It's when the great physician puts you under not to harm you, but to cut away what would have killed you if it stayed inside. You've been exhausted, haven't you? Not just tired, spiritually paralyzed. Can't pray like you used to, can't feel Him like before. Some mornings, you wake up and wonder if God even remembers your name. Your body aches with a fatigue that sleep won't fix. Your mind races at 3 a.m. with questions that have no earthly answers. Listen to what happened to Daniel. Chapter 10. A man who spoke to kings, who saw visions, who moved in power. Suddenly he's face down on the ground for 21 days. And he says this, "No strength remained in me." Does that sound familiar? Daniel wasn't being punished. He was being prepared. Heaven was rewiring his frequency so he could receive what was coming. And right now, right this second, you're on that same operating table. God has you in the operating room of heaven. And I need you to understand something that's going to shift everything. What you're feeling isn't depression, it's reconstruction. What you're experiencing isn't abandonment, it's recalibration. The sleeplessness, that's your spirit being tuned to a frequency this realm can't hear yet. You're being moved into what I call the 5D, awakening a dimension of peace so deep that chaos can't touch it, a level of sight so clear that the enemy's tricks look like child's play. But here's what most people miss. Stillness is not stagnation. Stillness is activation. When you can't move, God is moving for you. When you're too weak to fight, heaven is fighting battles you'll never even see. Every day you've felt stuck, angels have been rearranging your future, clearing paths, closing doors that would have destroyed you, opening gates you don't even know exist yet. Right now, I want you to say something out loud. Don't just think it, say it. God, I surrender to stillness. Say it again, louder. Let that agreement hit the atmosphere. Because here's the prophecy I'm releasing over you right now. When he finishes this surgery, you won't just heal, you will resurrect. You won't walk out the same. You'll walk out unstoppable. The people who left you, they won't recognize the version of you that's coming. The doors that closed, you won't even want them anymore. The dreams that died, God's about to breathe on the bones. But you have to stop fighting the stillness. You have to stop begging God to take you back to where you were. You were never meant to go back. You were meant to ascend. And that ascension, it's happening right now, in the waiting, in the silence, in the surrender. So, here's the question burning in the realm of the spirit. What is God cutting out of you that you keep trying to hold on to? Now we arrive at the moment everything changes. You've been living in a dimension most people never escape. A dimension where fear whispers louder than faith, where scarcity feels more real than abundance, where every door that closes convinces you there are no more doors. But chosen one, what if I told you that dimension is collapsing right now? What if the fog that's been blinding you for years, decades even, is finally lifting, and on the other side, you're about to see with eternal eyes, eyes that don't measure your worth by what you lost, eyes that don't count the years behind you as wasted, eyes that see what heaven has always seen when it looks at you, limitless possibility. Isaiah 60:1 says it like this: Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. Arise. Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when the circumstances line up. Now, your light has already come. It's been waiting for you to stop waiting. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and fear no longer holds you. The fear of being too old. The fear that your best years are gone. The fear that God forgot about you somewhere between your prayers and your pain. Imagine life where that fear dissolves like morning mist under the Sunday. That's not fantasy. That's the dimension you just stepped into. But here's where it gets dangerous. Here's where most people turn back. They stand at the threshold of this new reality, this fifth dimension of divine awareness, and they hesitate. They look back at yesterday, at the familiar prison, at the comfortable chains, and they choose to stay. Why? Because transformation is terrifying. Because the old identity, even when it's killing you, feels safer than the new creation God is calling you to become. 2 Corinthians 5:17 doesn't negotiate. If anyone is in Christ, the new creation has come. The old has gone, the new is here. Not coming, not on its way. Here, present tense. Available right now. So let me ask you something, and I need you to feel the weight of this question in your chest. Are you going to cross the threshold, or are you going to die wondering what was on the other side? Type 777 inches, the comments, if you're ready to rise above the illusion, if you're done living small, if you're ready to walk in the authority heaven placed on your life before you were born. Because here's what nobody tells you about being chosen. It's not just an honor, it's an assignment. And the clock isn't pausing while you figure out if you're brave enough. The enemy knows you're standing at this door right now. He's terrified. Because once you walk through, once you step into your new identity as a new creation, there's no going back. You become unstoppable, untouchable, unmovable. But you have to move. So the question burning in the heavens right now is this: will you? So let me leave you with this. Chosen one. You are not random. You are not forgotten. You are not too late, too old, or too broken. Every single thing you've walked through, every loss, every betrayal, every silent night wondering if God still saw you, it was all preparation, not punishment. Preparation. Remember this. You passed a test you didn't know you were taking. Heaven cleared the room so you could hear clearly. And right now, at this very moment, you're standing at the threshold of the greatest chapter of your life. But here's what I need you to know in your bones. You are not alone in this. God is still working, even when you can't see it, even when it feels like nothing's moving. He's orchestrating, arranging, aligning things in the invisible realm that are about to break into your visible reality. And you have a community here, thousands of chosen ones just like you, ready to stand with you, pray with you, believe with you. So before we close, I want to ask you one question, and I want you to sit with it. Let it sink deep. What would your life look like if you finally believed that God's best for you isn't behind you, it's ahead of you? Now, bow your head with me. Wherever you are, kitchen table, living room, middle of the night, it doesn't matter. Let me pray over you. Father, I come before you right now on behalf of every person hearing my voice. Lord, they've been through the fire. They've been through the valley. They've been through seasons where it felt like you were silent. But God, I thank you that you never left them. You never abandoned them. You were refining them, preparing them, positioning them. I pray right now that you would open doors no man can shut. I pray you would release favor, provision, and divine connections into their lives. Break every chain of fear, doubt, and delay. Heal every wound the enemy tried to use against them. And Lord, give them supernatural strength to walk into everything you've prepared for them. Let them feel your hand on their shoulder right now. Let them know, beyond any shadow of doubt, that they are seen, they are loved, and they are chosen. In Jesus' mighty name, Amen. Listen, if this message touched something deep inside you, I need you to do something. Drop a comment below. Tell me what you're believing God for. Ask your questions. Share your story. Because when you do, you're not just commenting, you're activating faith. And you're reminding someone else scrolling through that they're not alone either. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. That friend who's been struggling, that family member who's losing hope, that person who keeps asking God, why me? They need this message. You might be the vessel heaven uses to change their life today. And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell, because God's not done speaking. There's more revelation coming, more breakthrough, more truth that's going to set you free. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching until the very end. That tells me you're serious, you're hungry, you're ready. Now go walk in your authority, chosen one. Your time is now.